Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. He hasn't gone over it yet. Yeah, I wanted to put this on to see why this video feels faster than it really is. He just talks fast. I lean to learn to talk a little faster, but I want to do a video every day just to make sure, just to check in with you guys. I want to do a video every day. I want to get better at doing them, more fluid. So they might not all be very good looking, and they might all be. It's quantity over quality, at least for the beginning. So yeah, let's see what he has to say. Oh, whoop, whoop. There we go.
Post 2020 averages about 218. Overall, I slowed down by about 12%. And before we get into the other reasons why you might think 218, pre-2020 averaged 248 words per minute.
So this guy talked really, really fast. He was talking about how a lot of people talk like 150. 150 is the ideal. But I guess he had to bring it down.
As you can see, if we separate the data into two subsets, before and after 2020, there's a very obvious difference in talking speed. Pre-2020 averaged 248 words per minute, whereas post-2020 averages about 218. Overall, I slowed down by about 12%. And before we get into the other reasons why you might think my videos are sped up, you might be wondering why I speak this fast in the first place. There are a couple of reasons, the main of which being that is just how my brain works. That is how I naturally speak, meaning it is the most comfortable way of me talking. There really isn't much delay between words and thoughts popping into my head and my mouth's ability to say them. That gets me into some situations, I can tell you that. But trying to force myself to slow down my speech when I am making a video like this genuinely feels awful to me. Like I am stuck in traffic or trying to download.
That's like literally how I talk. Like that's how I naturally speak. Because I try to formulate my thoughts in a coherent way. I don't know how he does it. How does he have so many completed thoughts going on in his head that he could just kind of spew them out? So that's why I got to get a little bit better at that. No biggie.
An image on dial-up internet. It feels painful, horribly boring, and it makes me want to rip my freaking brains out. I'm gonna be honest. It's just not nice, all right? It kind of feels as if like there's a huge amount of traffic piling up behind me, and my brain's like, what's going on, mouth? I'm gonna say words, and it's just nothing happening. There's nothing happening. Genuinely, that segment genuinely hurt. People say, why don't you slow down? You can slow me down in the YouTube UI if it's really that bad. But I actually get lots of nice comments from people that are also on my wavelength. So I don't feel like I need to slow down for anyone else because I'm just making my videos for me and I'm happy with how I am. So that's just how we're gonna do it, you know? Despite the fact that my recent video on how to spot if something is written by AI, linked above, was the slowest talking speed out of any of the samples that I found, it still received an overwhelming number of comments about its speed. Sure, 209 words per minute is 39% faster than the average, but could anything else be at play here? Well, the editing style I've developed over my long tenure at YouTube is sort of a YouTube-first editing style. If you watch certain YouTubers, you can really tell from their editing which ones were heavily inspired by old-school British documentaries or American political talk shows. Mine, on the other hand, is at its core a mishmash of old-school YouTube and modern YouTube. One of the editing characteristics that's in pretty much every one of my YouTube videos, and you may see in other YouTubers' videos like mine, is the JL cut. When you start making videos, one of the first things you realize is just how cringe it is to have a long pause between cuts. Like that one right there was, that was just a bit long, right? And to me, it just shows the editor didn't tidy it up enough. Come on, Kim. The solution to ensure a video feels like it always has a driving motion is to make sure that the dialogue never stops. So though a video from clip A may still be on screen, underneath, the audio from clip B has already kicked in. And visually, in your NLE or nonlinear editor, I switched to DaVinci this year, it looks just like the letters J and L. Like, JL edits, that's why they're called that. This editing style I use a lot for my sit-down videos in one location, as it's my style. I've developed this over years, and it genuinely feels like how my brain wants to make this art. But even beyond how I talk or edit, there's another reason you might think this video is sped up, and weirdly, it has to do with electricity. Since 2020, I upload many of my sit-down videos, like this one right here, in 50p. This is quite unique compared to most every other YouTuber. Most American YouTubers that don't change any of their settings on their camera record at 30p, or 30 frames per second. If they want to pretend they're artsy-fartsy, they record in 24p, because, you know, cinema. In the UK and EU, the default frame rate for most cameras is 25p. That's actually what I use for most of my videos out and about, like my recent video on cycling in London. Side note, by the way, thank you so much for all the kind comments on my London cycling video. I haven't had that many people say a video of mine made them cry since my Goodbye Chiswick video, so thank you. I'm really glad I didn't cut that bit out that caught me off guard. But the reason why cameras record at different frame rates depending on where you live all does come down to electricity in the end, specifically your country's power grid. In North America, the mains frequency is 60 hertz, and those old cathode tube TVs would be getting power at 60 hertz. To avoid any interference with the image generated on the TV, broadcasters began transmitting video at frame rates that matched or evenly divided into 60 hertz. You know, like 30 frames per second. This ensured that the refresh rate on the TV was synchronized with the power supply, reducing flicker and visual artifacts. In Europe and the UK, meanwhile, the power grid runs at 50 hertz, so televisions here adopted a 25 frames per second standard. Even though everything's digital now, those old standards stuck, and they're still the default on most cameras because we're pretty much just used to them at this point. I personally prefer the look of my sit-down videos at 50p because it just makes them look so crisp, and I like the fact that it is one of the ways that my videos do stand out from many others on the platform. It makes me me. Because of this, a lot of new viewers who are not used to seeing videos in 50p, regardless of where they live, and the extra frames, might come off to them as a little bit weird. So audibly, they're hearing me speak 50% faster than most videos they watch. The audio comes in a little earlier than they might be expecting, and visually, they're getting 100% more frames. So their first guess is usually, why are you speeding up your videos? Or worse, they speak about me the third person, which is literally rule 2 on the comment section. It says, do not say third person, don't say this guy, don't say he, I'm right here, all right? If you reasonably ask, why don't you just upload in 25p for all your videos then? Well, because that doesn't actually change anything. That's just one of these flags. Regardless of the frame rate, 50p or 25p, I still get these comments asking if the video is sped up. So for the time being, I've just gotta hope that they watch this video to understand why. So if that's you, hope you understand and accept me. This is just who I am. I am glad you took the time out of your day to watch this video anyway. Thank you. I do hope you learned something along the way. The only negative I've found to uploading in 50p at the moment is that the YouTube app on the Apple TV won't let you watch in anything higher than 480p with the playback speed turned up. So that's so annoying. I just want to watch videos that are really crisp and high quality, maybe a little faster than most people. Who knows? I did mention I've got a future sequel to this video, which will make a whole lot of sense now that you've watched this one. So be sure to subscribe to catch that in your sub feed. People use the sub feed still. But before I wrap this up, just to show you how fast I can really speak when I let loose, let me quickly thank today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace, if you didn't know, is your all-in-one website builder. Whether you want to build a website, a blog, a web store, you name it. I built my website, evanedinger.com, using Squarespace, and it was a breeze. All I had to do was choose from one of the many professional-looking templates that they have available, and they look great on desktop and on phone. Then I added some photos, added a little store to sell my video LUTs and Lightroom presets, and it was that easy. I really like having a website to call my own, which is why I always link my website, evanedinger.com, in my outro. Plus, it gives a clean URL to use when pointing people to my blog post of all the kit that I use to make these videos. If you'd like to build a website of your own, it's that easy. Just sign up at squarespace.com/evanedinger and you can get 10% off. So thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring. Let's hit in with the outro at my normal pace. And if you think this is fast, just...
Sorry, I can't stand him. Gotta go. Had to leave from that. Oh my god, there's nothing good. Okay, so.
A 4-year-old boy is killed in Polk County, and we want to warn you, the details of this tragedy are quite disturbing.
We cover a lot of tragic cases on this channel.
I did want to see this. It's 21 minutes. I did want to just watch this, but I'll watch a little bit of it. This video, Florida mom films herself tossing handcuffed son into pool to drown. The Misery Machine. I like watching them. Like a lot of true crime shows. They're really sensational. These two hosts, they seem to have a lot of compassion, but they can't help but be a little bit like a little clickbaity. I like him. Nothing bad to say about him, really. All right, let's begin.
But it seems that a lot of the stories that come out of Florida tend to be especially heinous. Today we'll be discussing a woman by the name of Patricia Boyer Santazer, who immigrated to the United States from Haiti. Patricia seemed like an average 36-year-old. She was married to a man named Rene and the mother of 2 sons that she adopted from her home country. Her older son was 16 years old, and after a 3-year-long process, she welcomed Brian Boyer into her home in April of 2023, who was 4 at the time of our story. Patricia held a job at the ABC Liquors corporate office and aspired to start her own transportation service for students living in the Claremont, Davenport, Haines City, Winter Haven, and Poinciana area. She dubbed the business Victory Kids Services, which was supposed to be a safe and reliable door-to-door transportation service for children ages 3 to 8.
I'm trying to see if that's like a decal. I think it's just on the screen. That's an unmarked van with no, you know what I'm saying?
In addition, Patricia aspired to start a daycare that she also dubbed Victory Daycare. There doesn't appear to be any evidence indicating that either of these businesses made it past the planning stages. Other than Patricia's Facebook page, which only consists of 2 friends, the only other mention of the businesses online ties back to a singular Yelp listing, which gave an address on Majesty Drive in Davenport registered to her husband, Rene. The family lived in a pleasant suburban neighborhood in Davenport, in a light yellow house with a single-car garage and a swimming pool in the backyard. Palm trees dotted the neatly manicured properties. From the outside, one would think that the Santazers were a typical loving family. But sadly, that's not what tends to happen on this show, especially in Polk County.
May 1st, 2024 should have been like any other normal day for the 4-year-old. Brian, who attended Loftman Oaks Elementary School, presumably in their pre-K program, arrived home from school in a good mood. According to witnesses that interacted with the boy, nothing seemed amiss. He even looked completely normal on the school bus surveillance footage. According to his 16-year-old brother, who
I noticed this too. Like it, I like to notice a lot of things about videos because I'm in the middle of creating videos here. So I see the bokeh animation. I see the scratchy filter here.
has not been named
Had like a
publicly by the
wavy,
media, Brian spent
yeah, like
according to
different,
his
yeah,
witness,
like a vignetting around the edges.
even
A
looked
lot of
completely
effects
normal
on the
school bus surveillance footage.
what does it call it? Diary. I watch a lot of reality TV. A lot of effects on the narrator.
According to his 16-year-old brother, who has not been named publicly by the media,
So that all that
Brian
was
spent
still up.
about 2 hours in a different room when their mother asked him to bring his brother a plate of food. However, something was wrong with Brian. He couldn't sit up on his own or walk at all. When the older boy informed Patricia of his state, she accused Brian of faking it and being overdramatic and demanded that he feed him anyway. This is where things took a turn for the worse. During dinner, Brian was extremely lethargic, began to visibly shake, and threw up 3 different times.
Jeez.
A stark contrast from the little boy with the can-do attitude who exited the school bus just hours earlier. Soon, he felt unresponsive. The 16-year-old attempted CPR.
All right, so this is about Florida mom tossed her kid in the pool. So what is this whole like food poisoning angle we're doing here? Kind of a throw me for a loop.
on his brother and demanded that Patricia bring him to the hospital. On the way to the car, Brian continued to shake before falling to the ground flat on his back.
After being admitted to Advent Health Heart of Florida Hospital in Haines City, it was discovered that Brian was suffering from severe abdominal bleeding. He was airlifted to Orlando Health for emergency surgery, but sadly, little Brian was beyond help. The following day, the hospital informed the Polk County Sheriff's Office that Brian Boyer had passed away under suspicious circumstances. But what happened between his arrival from school and dinner? When questioned by police, Patricia claimed that Brian was weak and tired and was exhibiting flu-like symptoms for about a week. This
Okay.
directly contradicted the testimony of those who spent time with Brian that day at school. She also claimed that she never used physical punishment with either of her sons.
What does drowning do to your, like, make you throw up 3 times, you know? Make you, well, obviously, like lethargic, it could. Like if you're, if you're getting to have some residual effects of being, asphyxiated or like drowning, right? Water, whatever.
This would soon be revealed as an outright lie. Due to the nature of little Brian's death, investigators quickly descended upon the Majesty Drive address armed with a search warrant. After seizing and reviewing the contents of Patricia's cell phone, they were shocked. 2 videos were discovered that solved the mystery of what happened to the little boy who just 1 year earlier escaped the civil unrest in his home country. In one video, Brian is laying on the floor unresponsive, while Patricia can be seen repeatedly beating him with an unknown object. In another video, she is seen throwing Brian into the family pool with his hands tied behind his back. According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office,
Videos, though. Who's doing these? Who's putting these videos together? Isn't that a little suspicious? Because then it's like, should she put it on a tripod, or what? Who is she bragging about abusing her kids? What kind of clout does that get you online?
it's very likely that Patricia had no idea that these videos were even on her phone, as she didn't actively take them herself. Instead, they were captured by her own home surveillance
Whoa.
system, which
Okay. That's, I mean, W surveillance system. Hell yeah. But that reminds me of a thing I saw earlier today about dash cams. There was a lawyer that said, if you get a dash cam and you want to use some footage in court, there are some states that if you want to use a piece of your footage, then the defense can use the rest. They might have to use all of your tape, all of your footage. So it's kind of like if you're like yelling at your passenger and you're driving irresponsibly, and then like 5 minutes later someone cuts you off and you want to use that footage, they want to use the rest of your footage to show you, to show the courts that you were irresponsible. So we're putting cameras in our own houses, and they can tattle on us. Luckily for this kid, it's tattling for, for good. But yeah, no, you got to balance security with your privacy. Something to think about as we kind of we're putting cameras in our house to watch our plants and to watch our pets and our kids. And they can catch everything.
and transmitted the video to the app on her phone.
At the autopsy, it was found that Brian suffered injuries involving scarring on his back, both old and new, as well as a deep laceration of the liver caused by targeted blunt force trauma. This injury
What?
suffered in
Video to the app on her phone.
At the autopsy, it was found that Brian suffered injuries involving scarring on his back, both old and new, as well as a deep laceration of the liver caused by targeted blunt force trauma.
Shoot. That's like a laceration of the liver happens and you get like in a boxing match, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you get hit hard. This poor kid.
This injury would have caused a rapid decline in Brian's health, which would have been very noticeable, almost immediately. This is why he was so sickly both before and during dinner. In the press conference that we'll share with you later, it was thought that his spleen was also injured, but this turned out to be false. Although he had no broken bones, Brian had bruising and hemorrhaging to both his arms and legs. Medical examiner ruled his death a homicide by blunt force trauma caused by ongoing CA. When Brian's 16-year-old brother was questioned by authorities, he initially denied that his mother had been mistreating the little boy. However, once he was taken into the custody of Florida Department of Children and Families, he felt a little more at ease and was able to share what had really been going on behind closed doors. According to the teenager, Patricia told him, and I quote, "When they ask you something, say nothing so I don't get in trouble." She then threatened to shoot and kill him if he disobeyed her orders. In addition, he shared that while in Haiti, he and his brother were both beaten.
She's just having a hard time raising her kids. That's all it is. This is, sometimes when you put on that, I'm kidding. That's unredeemable. That is you're not really treating your kids like your kids. You're treating them like a I don't know.
With what he described as a homemade hitting device, as well as a belt. Patricia Boyer Santazer was arrested and charged with first-degree homicide in the death of her son, 4-year-old Brian Boyer. She also faces charges of aggravated CA, as well as tampering with a witness for threatening to kill her teenage son. She's currently being held without bond, with the exception of the aggravated CA charge. According to her inmate listing with the Central County Jail, her bond is set at $25,000 for that singular charge, which is quite strange because even if she met that bond, she still wouldn't be let out for the other charges. As this case is still developing, we'll keep an eye out for updates as they become available. If they become available. Additionally, we should mention that Patricia is considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. However, the evidence against her, found on her cell phone, is pretty damning at this stage. Patricia's husband, Renee, was at work at the time of the fatal incident, and it's unclear if he will face any charges. It is unlikely, but he has currently secured a lawyer for him and his wife. When questioned, he shared with the authorities that it was his wife who was the disciplinarian, not him.
Finally,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, shoot. 1 second, ski ball. I'll resume the video in just like 2 seconds. I just have to change a setting on my computer.
a Polk County episode would not be complete without a comment from Sheriff Grady Judd. As we've observed in our comment section, Sheriff Judd is quite the controversial figure, with some viewers singing his praises and others calling out some of his more problematic actions and policies. Now, when it comes to the subject matter that we cover on this show, I do commend Sheriff Judd on his tough stance for those who hurt children. Brian's death is the third instance just this year where a parent or caregiver has been charged with killing a child.
What year was this? 24. Okay.
In their custody, age 4 or younger, and we haven't even touched on those cases yet. I do know that this is at least the 4th Polk County case that we have covered that has occurred within the last few years.
It is weird. It is weird. How come Polk County? Why is that something that I've heard of before? Polk County. How come they're always in the news? What's going on in Polk County? Right? Am I wrong here or what? Polk County. What's another one that everybody talks about? Really popular. I mean, should I say popular? They're always talking about some crazy crime that's happened in their county.
Before I keep ranting, let's just see what the sheriff has to say. He starts off with sharing the history of how Brian came to the United States.
Thank you very much for being with us today. I am going to tell you a sad story, a very sad story, about a 4-year-old little boy and a sad ending to a very sad story. He was born in Haiti to a mother who didn't want him.
Oh, geez.
And so he was adopted in Haiti by this lady whose sister was in the United States. It took 3 years for the adoption process to go through, and ultimately the 4-year-old end up here in the United States. It's called the...
He sounded like he had trouble with that. He sounded like he had trouble putting all the pieces together for us. I'm trying to figure out what... I'm sure he'll elaborate.
Biden program, and supposedly it's a sped up adoption. So the child's born to a mother who doesn't want it. We have no idea who that mother is. The sister of our suspect is in the process of getting the child for her sister, who is Patricia Saint Azaire. Patricia's 36 years of age. She's already got a 16-year-old son that she has adopted from Haiti.
Wait, she's what? Wait.
Years of age.
Wait, 36?
She's already got a 16. Patricia's 36 years of age.
Holy moly.
She's already got a 16-year-old son that she has adopted from Haiti. The 4-year-old...
What does he mean already? Already? She's 36. Okay. Okay. I'll switch over. Oh my god. You know, nothing's easy. Just saying, nothing's easy. Nothing's easy. I like this Dutch angle though. That's fucking sick. There we go. Nothing's easy.
Comes here as a 3-year-old only a year ago. And what we've learned during this investigation just turns our stomach.
Next, Sheriff Judd discussed some of the horrible details uncovered in this investigation, including the video where he's tied up and thrown in the pool. We're not going to include this clip because it's pretty terrible and little Brian shouldn't be remembered that way.
No.
We have a video clip of where that 3-year-old baby's hands was tied behind.
Why would they show it though? Wouldn't it be like it's obscene and it would be something that
behind his back, and she threw him in a swimming pool.
That's enough. See, that account is enough. We don't need to see it. Do they show it? No. Maybe he does on the TV here. Okay. The rest of this is going to be the press conference. I'm okay with not continuing. I mean, we saw. Oof. This is just all. The Misery Machine lives up to its name. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So okay, I'm going to continue doing videos every day. I'm going to try to do this every day. I'm going to try to do more interesting videos every day. Oh man. How did I'm sorry for not making this interesting looking. I could just go here. There we go. Cool. Uh-huh. Cool. All right. So yeah, I'm going to try to do a video every day. I'm going to try to make it polished, more polished. make sure I don't have like, dirty laundry. Yeah. So I've got a link in my my Twitch, for donating. That'll come into place, I'm sure, down the line. But I want to keep on doing this more often and more put together. And I'm going to I'm going to interact more. I do this in the middle of the day. I want to go to sleep now. It's 1:20. I usually go to sleep way too late. So I don't have any morning left. I feel like I'm like burning my candle at both ends. So what I have to do is I have to go to sleep early. I'm going to get up tomorrow morning, do some errands, do some work, and then I'm going to appear and continue doing this. I want to try to find some good things to react to, as well as some games to play. Maybe some articles to pull up tomorrow morning. Do some news, early news. And thanks so much for joining me. And every one of you means so much. Everything. If you like, subscribe, comment. Because I'm going to be putting this on YouTube, obviously. So I've got it. PattyMagicBun YouTube, PattyMagicBun Twitter, and Twitch. I'm not thrilled about the name anymore, honestly. So I'm just being honest because I want to do this. I want to continue doing this, and I want to feel like I want to feel like it's something I'm passionate about, and it is. It absolutely is. And the PattyMagicBun thing was kind of a not that I didn't put thought into it. I did put thought into the name. I'm just not sure what the appeal is. Like, who would be interested in listening to somebody called that? And then if, like, tonally, if I'm talking about like true crime or something heavy, I don't want it to be like goofy clown man all the time. So I want to see. I'm trying to be transparent and authentic, which I don't think is like might not be the meta nowadays. I might, I started off doing kind of like this. You know what I'm talking about? Oh damn. I don't have the thing open. No, I do. Oh, wait 1 second. I have a walking, talking, freaking avatar that I like to use sometimes, but oh, that's why. So yeah. So when I talk, so if I'm gonna be like subversive or anything like that, I want it to be called PattyMagicBun, and I want it to be just a patty inside of a takeout container. And I was just gonna talk and just kind of say stuff. I mean, that's totally fine. I think I should pound these out, these videos, and then when it's time to show my face, just show my face and talk and just whatever. Because I mean, there's nothing I'm trying to hide. Might not have a great hair day or a good style clothing one day to the next, but that's how it is. So I want to contribute, do a lot better, do a lot more of these, grow a community, and then get some momentum, move on from there. So if you're watching this, you mean so much. Thank you so much. Doing a show with nobody watching is it's just inevitable, and I'm just gonna have to get good at it. But the fact that someone's watching me kind of just ramble and talk kind of feels nice. Yeah, it does. Cause if they're gonna leave now, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. But it's good to kind of feel like if I'm on the right track, keep going. If I'm not, not many people are watching. I could just kind of do whatever. I might stumble upon something enjoyable, but that's the dynamic here. So yeah, I think this is the video number 3. All in all, unedited, and thank you for being with me here. I know the other camera ran out of battery, and that's something that I just wanted to film a short video. This is a lot longer than I expected it to be, just because I'm experimenting. But yeah, the camera's battery went out. It died. So I'm going to do the thing where I plug it into the wall next time. But it's pretty late, so I'm gonna go to sleep, and I will continue tomorrow.